Yes.
Will this Super Bowl be more about how Patrick Mahomes or Brock Purdy plays?
I think it's going to come down to Purdy because for the simple fact, I don't think Kyle Shanahan will make the mistake the Baltimore Ravens made and get away from the run game. They still will rely heavily on Christian McCaffrey. So you have to neutralize something and got to do a better job of controlling the run than they did against Buffalo. So I think it's going to come down to Purdy, and you know every game, no matter what Super Bowl is going to come down to a throw. We saw Mahomes in his first Super Bowl. He asked for a play. EB said, hey, Andy, he wants this play. He made the throw. The difference was Jimmy G missed his throw because he had Emmanuel Sanders open. The game will come down to a throw, be it a third down, a fourth down, or a throw to keep the drive alive. And we've seen Patrick Mahomes in these moments. We know what Patrick Mahomes can do on the biggest stage on multiple occasions. I think it's time for Brock Purdy to step up and show that all the questions and concerns that people had earlier in the year, I'm going to put those to bed tonight.
Listen, even if Purdy plays well, I don't know how the game isn't about Mahomes. He is the greatest quarterback for at least one game that I've ever seen. You know he's going to play well. The Tampa one 3 years ago was about the offensive line. They fell apart. Mahomes is going to play a big-time game. Played well against, obviously, Allen. What are you looking at me that way for?
Did you just walk back a hot take you had on First Take last week?
No, my hot take was Mahomes the greatest quarterback of all time.
Yeah,
I've said that 1,000 times.
And now today we're out here in Vegas. Maybe you just bet your money somewhere else. And you just said to me, he's the best quarterback we've seen for one game.
Okay, you want me to say the career? I'll say the career. I think he's better than Brady. If I had a game to win right now in his peak, I'm taking Mahomes over Brady. And I know Brady's got 7, and Mahomes is not going to get there. And the other thing is, it's not about Mahomes being a villain. It's about Chiefs fatigue.
Yes,
I think we're sick of seeing him.
Right.
I mean, so here's the solution. Bet Kansas City. How could you bet against Mahomes in games like this?
Right. I think
Shannon, how do you bet against him? You can't.
I think both things you just said are ridiculous.
Oh, my gosh.
Oh, get him.
Chiefs fatigue?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
You were tired of watching.
You didn't want to see Detroit.
Not you
didn't
have to understand, you're an analyst. You're not a fan. Remember how Brady was? They loved Brady until he was in the Super Bowl damn near every year, and they hated him.
Dan, you didn't want to see Lamar Jackson and the Detroit Lions. You didn't want to see Lamar get a shot in the city of Detroit.
I picked Baltimore to win the game. Yes,
Yeah.
there's a desire to see other opportunity, but I'm not tired of watching greatness.
But
I'm
why
not tired
is
of
it
watching
that we always see you diagnose and dissect stuff with such exceptionalism pre-game? But then when your outcome is wrong, we hear so very little from you about how you were wrong.
I'm just
because
not wrong that much.
This is the first time I heard you say all week or the last 2 weeks about how you were wrong about Baltimore. I've been looking for you for 2 weeks to say that, and I just heard it today.
I was the first time it came up, Stephen. So just conveniently, it's the first time it came up. This is what you say. The game's more about Patrick.
Yep.
And then you riddle off how great Patrick is and that we know he's going to be great. Then how is it not more about Purdy? How is it not more about a quarterback that has to go against a guy that we and some people are saying is the greatest of all time and is going to go into the Hall of Fame and might chase down Tom Brady's GOAT? It's got to be about Brock Purdy's performance. You know Patrick Mahomes never lost a game inside? He's never lost a game playing inside of a dome. He would be the first guy to beat Patrick playing in ideal situations. You know, when was the last quarterback that played against this Kansas City defense and played good? There's been one since like October. Josh Allen. Every other quarterback has struggled against his defense. Who's Patrick lost to in the playoffs as quarterbacks? He's lost to
Joe
Brady
Burrow
and Joe Burrow. So Brock Purdy within his second year would put himself into a category of I'm one of the guys that has beaten Patrick Mahomes with Tom Brady and Joe Burrow.
All right, let me ask you this. Can you see Purdy outplaying Mahomes in a game on Sunday? In any shape, way, or form.
He doesn't have to.
I think he does. If Mahomes plays great and Purdy plays pretty good,
the fact
Chiefs
that he
are gonna
does.
win.
I don't see him outplaying Mahomes, but if he does, the game is absolutely about him.
Can I say that? You know, I mean, far be it for me to stick to the storyline right here. The tagline Sunday more about Purdy plays or Mahomes. I'm going to answer the damn question. I'm going to tell you it's about Purdy. I'm going to tell you it's about Purdy. And here's why I'm going to tell you it's about Purdy. Because you talked about Mahomes, Doggy. So we can make an assumption. This is what we're going to get from Mahomes. The question mark is Purdy and how he's going to be utilized by by Shanahan in order to be effective and efficient enough to overcome what we assume Patrick Mahomes is going to throw into the equation. Now we think about CMC, Christian McCaffrey, and we say, you know, dip and dump the ball to him or let him run the football. And if he was running roughshod over them the way Detroit was doing in the first half of that NFC Championship game, then all bets are off. But what if Purdy gets loose? What if Purdy shows up and plays comparable to Patrick Mahomes the way Jalen Hurts did last year in the Super Bowl? Because when you look at the weapons that San Francisco has offensively, if Purdy plays to that level, they can win this game, obviously, and you got some people who believe San Francisco is going to win this game. So I think this is more about Purdy because Purdy is the question mark.
Yes.
Mahomes is not.
No.
And that's why it's about Purdy.
Let me ask you a question, though. I'll pose this to everybody. Let's just say both running games get stymied.
Okay.
Now, you know ultimately it has to be about Purdy because we've seen Patrick Mahomes win games without a sufficient running game. Can Brock Purdy win a game without Christian McCaffrey going hog wild?
I think he can because I think Shanahan's got enough evidence from that 2019 Super Bowl of the things that worked well versus Kansas City's defense. I know there's different people, but Spags is still the defensive coordinator. And so I still think there's the people on the outside. Let me say this, Shannon. If the run game gets stymied, then it becomes a George Kittle game. Like Kittle would have to be 8 for $110 for them to win. And Purdy is going to have to play very good. And I totally agree. I totally agree. If both run games stymied, like if we sit here today, Friday morning, and we hypothetically say both run games stymied, Kansas City wins. Kansas City wins that game. There's no question. Unless Purdy has this performance that we go, it's a jaw drop. Kansas City's got top 2 defense in scoring and in total yards.
I will say this, too, though. We haven't mentioned Pacheco enough. Runs hard, runs violently, chews up yards, can really, really demoralize you. We haven't seen him have to do it much, but he does have that capability. And I have not been enamored with what I've seen from San Francisco's run defense at times during this postseason. Green Bay and Detroit. So I'm not ruling out him being a big factor as well.
Shannon, who do you see as more of an underdog in this game?
Well, Andy addressed it. He said, I understand. They've been more consistent in the regular season. We struggled. I think outside of maybe the guys in that locker room or Kansas City fans, I didn't expect them to be here because I watched the way they played all year long. Receivers dropping passes. The offensive line, the most penalized team in football. They didn't do a great job. Patrick Mahomes wasn't playing to Patrick Mahomes' level. The one thing that's been consistent has been that defense. That defense has been outstanding all year. And they rode that defense. It's hard to say they rode a defense when you have Patrick Mahomes as your quarterback. But what Andy is saying without saying
Oh, Shannon, 1 second. We lost your mic. I want to kick it to RC.
Okay. Well, no, I think Andy Reid understands it, and even if you're looking at the people who are analyzing this game, a lot of what we're looking at from a roster standpoint is that the San Francisco 49ers have the best roster top to bottom. The San Francisco 49ers have been the most consistent team, but it also speaks to what Patrick Mahomes has been. In understanding that this isn't the best Kansas City Chiefs set of skilled players, this isn't the best Kansas City Chiefs offensive tackles, this team has still gotten to this point. I don't want to take Unk's point when he was speaking about the defense, but what this defense and Steve Spagnuolo have been able to do down the stretch of this season has been absolutely amazing. And you're talking about the best big game defensive coordinator of our era in Steve Spagnuolo. And when you look at this game, it's very hard for me, even in seeing what the rosters are, to expect that the San Francisco 49ers outplay such an experienced and accomplished team with a quarterback like Patrick Mahomes on Sunday.
Not to go over my entire point, what Andy was saying without saying it. When he said he doesn't feel like an underdog, I got 15, they don't. Why should I ever think I'm going to be an underdog going into the game? And I did not expect them to be here because based on the way they played the entirety of the season, dropping passes, offensive line holding, most penalized offensive line in football, the tackles didn't do a great job of protecting Patrick Mahomes. And Patrick Mahomes didn't play like the Patrick Mahomes that we're used to seeing. They rode this defense, and it's hard to say a team led by Patrick Mahomes rode their defense here. But when you look at it top to bottom, the 49ers are the more talented football team. They are. It's just that simple. And so I'm not surprised that they're the favorites.
We can give it to Doggy here, but just as a distraction, do y'all like the shoes Molly's wearing?
Yeah, those hard.
I just heard.
I mean,
I
haven't seen a heel. How you put the heel in the middle of the foot?
Tell him we'll pick it out.
The heel is in the middle of the foot. What kind of...
First of all, we'll just do this really quick.
Did you pick those out, Stephen A?
So I picked out, won the bet that UConn was going to win the national championship, so we bet a pair of shoes. And I got these when? For Christmas?
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're phenomenal. Look at the heel. There we go.
Yeah. I'm just saying.
I don't know where my
And
camera
look at the heel is in the middle of the foot.
I'm just giving you an indication
of what's coming for you.
Of what's coming. You know what I'm saying? The style. The style points is what I'm talking about. It's just coming.
I do have them on with socks, which is a little suspect, but it's kind of cold out here. So.
You have to tell everybody.
Sometimes it's function and not
Jessica
fashion.
Simpsons, huh?
Every truth they made to be told. Every truth they made to be told. Go ahead, Dougie.
If you question me in the gym, if you question me with the wardrobe, get out of here.
I apologize.
Go ahead.
Apologize. That's what I'm talking about.
And they're
Can we
going
get
to
back
win
to
again.
Dougie instead of your
And
apologies?
UConn's going to win again, too.
No,
UConn's going to win again?
No,
Hey, when UConn wins, are you going to be at the national championship game?
No, but I'll bet something that they're not going to win the national championship.
Oh, you want to do it right now?
You want $50 on that?
Let's lose something more stylistic.
Okay, what you want to do?
Okay.
I'm
I
in
got
on
a good
this.
one.
Okay.
Well, you got to pick a team. I'm not going to give you the whole field.
Okay.
That's not fair. Here's the team.
How'd he get
Here's the
you-
thing.
how'd he get
If
this?
UConn doesn't win and gets picked off, I got to go to L.A. to do a couple of first takes, which is a complete disaster with my schedule. The other way, if UConn wins, I pick the days you got to come to New York to make it most inconvenient for you.
Wow.
Whoa.
That's a good one.
That is diabolical.
Shannon gonna go like that.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I think UConn might win also. I'm not trying to come to New York out of LA.
Oh, my God. All right.
First off, for the betting on initiative, meaning you, big guy over there,
Yes.
if you're going to bet the game, bet the Chiefs on the money line.
Yep. Okay.
Don't take the point and a half.
Okay.
The Chiefs on the money line are plus 110, 112, which means, for Molly, if you bet $100 and the Chiefs win, you win 112.
Yeah.
Right.
So the point and a half doesn't really mean anything.
Plus your money back.
I'm not rich enough to bet, so I need to
Yeah,
hold
sure.
on to my
Not
money.
rich enough
I
to
need
bet. She is
I need
so
to keep my money in the
rich
bank.
Will you say something here?
She lies all the time.
Rich
What do you want me to say?
talking
She does
about?
not say that. And Molly will walk around like she's a
I got
pauper.
bills
You know
to
what I'm saying? I
pay.
mean, she's ridiculous. She's ridiculous. I mean, oh my goodness.
But I will go with the overall
you
theme
and
with
I.
what Shannon said and what my buddy over here, Ryan Clark, said. I think San Francisco is better, top to bottom, roster-wise. I'm not betting against Mahomes and Andy Reid. I'm just not doing it. Are you going to lose? You got Mahomes sitting over there, who's the best quarterback. We all know how good he is.
Well,
and you got Reid, who's great off bye weeks.
Yes.
He's great off the bye weeks, 18-2.
Without question.
So I'm going those two.
My only hiccup with all of that, fellas, Molly, is that we've seen situations in the past where we had expectations and they weren't lived up to on the biggest stage. We didn't expect the Giants to beat that Randy Moss, Tom Brady, New England Patriots squad. We didn't. No. A lot of people did not expect that. We didn't expect the Giants to do that. Okay. When you look at the greatest show on turf, we didn't think New England was going to beat them that year. They beat them. We've seen throughout, and we didn't expect the Patriots to come back from a 28-3 deficit and knock off Atlanta. We've seen a lot of things in the Super Bowl.
We got a bump. Before we let you go, official Super Bowl prediction on the record, 10 seconds.
I'm going to take the 49. I'm taking my heart to 49ers. My head says Chiefs.
Kansas City, 31-27.
Okay, we will see you all after the big game. Enjoy the Super Bowl. We'll be live together like a happy family from Vegas.